I think things will go wrong when you first transition. I feel like I'm the right person to answer this. Not all that glitters is gold. I personally have gone through this transition a number of times, so I'll try to draw on my experiences to answer this. Now, the thing that I've always focused upon is that we are engineers first, and the roles are just extensions of your engineering capability, right? Now, the thing is, in my case, I started out with Java, which was a really hot thing at that point. It is still there. I even went ahead and got myself certified in Java, but then I basically lost interest in Java. So it can happen either ways. It can be an organizational need that drives this transition, or it can be something that you personally felt you are more interested in, right? So transitions are again a part and parcel, and I think the key point to remember is to not is that the engineering practices that you have developed over years of your studies or your professional experience, they have to carry through, right? Then the transition definitely becomes a lot easier. Again, to non-technical roles or semi-technical roles, for example, if you are a software developer and if you want to transition to something like say technical product manager, right? It again, I've seen it happen a number of times. Obviously, you will have to first get in the system. You need to basically observe how a project works and how to interact with stakeholders and everybody, and then give yourself a bit of time to think about it, because any transition, especially when you are changing verticals and when you are leaving a lot of your primary skill behind, has to be backed by strong thought and a lot of conviction in yourself being able to do the job. But having these transitions can be very, very beneficial, in the sense it can give you a lot of new things to do. It can revitalize your energy in the industry, especially if you are like a mid-senior level or going towards a senior level and you have been doing a similar thing for a long time. So I always try to encourage them. I myself have gone through two role transitions in Google. Like, I joined as a UX engineer, but then I transitioned to a software engineer front end. And I also tried to basically be open and work on all the areas across this stack. So yeah, transitions are good, I guess. I think things will go wrong when you first transition, and by wrong, I don't necessarily mean catastrophically wrong, because obviously you are new to the role, you are new to everything, so you should give yourself a bit of time, and also keep your stakeholders in loop that, look, I'm learning this thing, so please expect a bit of please give me a bit of ropeway. I mean, cut me some slack. And I think most organizations are reasonable enough to do this. But having gone through a phase where things didn't go up to the mark, there's no need to be discouraged. You either find out two things. You either find out that your perception about this role were right, or they were wrong. These are the only two possibilities. So if they are right, we know that I probably need to develop more skills to do this role judiciously. Or if it was wrong, that is also valuable information. There's no step in IT, at least I believe that is permanent. We can always sort of shuttle between things. Amazing question, and I feel like I'm the right person to answer this. So in general, like, there are some broad rules that our industry follows, right? For example, everybody knows tech pays more than non-tech. Specialized tech pays a lot more than general tech, right? So having these rules as your guiding principles will always help. For example, if when I was transitioning from a UX engineer role to a pure hardcore software engineer role inside Google, there was an aspect of a compensation change, right? So in most companies, if you do it internally, your internal systems will notify you about it. Like, this is the change we are expecting, this is the salary pay range, and while being a part of that system, you also have that information readily available to you. So yes, I don't think anybody would like to go backwards. So when you try and move up, it should be an informed decision that this is the new remuneration. I think benefits wise, the employee benefits sort of remain the same across verticals, as long as you are like a full-time employee. That doesn't change, at least it hasn't in my experience. But yes, for example, the base salary or the bonus can change very, very significantly across roles, and that is something we should always be very clear about with the recruiter or the hiring manager, wherever you are intending to basically switch to. This is a very case by case basis question, so I don't have a cookie cutter answer here, but then some guiding principles that I'll say: don't switch or transition roles just because some technology is hot right now, because a key part of technology and engineering is more unlearning than learning, because things change. That is the nature of what tech is, and innovations happen literally every day. So you need to sort of forget a lot more things than you learn, and what is hot today may not work out, or more importantly, it may not be something you are inherently good at, right? For example, if I am good at, say, building applications, right, and I'm very good at making them highly accessible, I'm good at that sort of thing, let's assume that. Now if I say that, okay, AI is the really cool thing right now, and I want to like put all my eggs in that basket, I'm probably doing myself and the world a disservice, because I have taken my careful expertise that I've built across a lot of years. I have basically flushed that down the drain, and I'm starting anew. So that may not even work for you, because then say I learn it from somewhere and I start going to interviews, and God forbid if I crack an interview, how would I even work? Because I have no experience applying that to a real world scenario. So I'll be probably lost. So I think these would be some wrong reasons to carry out a role transition. A role transition has to basically come from a need to change, either if you have done everything in that field, which I find a bit difficult to sort of imagine, or for some reason you got bored. It happens. Like if you do something long enough, you probably need something more, but that doesn't mean you dump all your expertise there. So I think it has to be driven by those factors rather than the new shiny and the bling, as they say, like not all that glitters is gold. I have a very practical answer to this, because we have to live in the situation that exists, right? In India, unfortunately, most interviews are very broken, in the sense that the way the top 5 conduct interviews are extremely different from what the general mass seems to do, because first of all, and this is a general problem, and it only gets amplified when you are transitioning to something new. So when you are basically transitioning to something new and you are interviewing, you first have to be you have to play the system. Interviewing is basically playing the system. You have to do your research in the sense, what does this company's interviews look like? Because again, with interviews, it's a very case by case basis thing. If you're approaching a product company, you can be a bit more of yourself. Making mistakes is expected there. Making mistakes is actually encouraged there, because they want to see how you are going to go ahead and self course correct and get yourself back to track. And that tells me more about you than probably somebody who doesn't make any mistake, right? So this is one approach to interviewing, but many companies sort of go for a very direct question and answer based scenarios, wherein there's no option to say something wrong, or there is actually a right or wrong, and it's very black and white. So again, I don't have a very transition specific angle to it, because the basics do remain the same. I assume you are transitioning because you have the skills, obviously. So I think the same fundamentals that you apply to any interview also apply there. As per the interviewer behavior, unfortunately, we can't really control that. I mean, be it judging, non-judging, although ideally interviewers should be non-judging, because you don't know a person at all in order to judge them. But I think uh, under communication is something that I have found that is a constant running theme in candidates who sort of, even despite being capable enough, don't clear the interviews, because it's not good to get your head down, solve a problem and say here's the solution. I probably gain more insight by listening to your thought process, what you are actually, how you are working towards the problem. So again, I think transition, no transition, over communication is always better than under communication. Over communicate, interviewers are also human, and in many cases they are willing to help you if you are stuck. So admitting that you are stuck is not a sign of weakness, it's just a natural process of problem solving, and you basically go through that process, be it for a transition specific interview or a non transition specific interview.